to our School at Home class in English Grade 7. We are in the second quarter of our set of lessons, and I hope everybody will delight in learning today with lesson number 18, Retelling a Chosen Legend in a Simple Paragraph. Specifically, you will learn about the following. 1. Identify the important points in retelling a story. 2. Retell the legend of Makaya using a simple paragraph. For a start, do the following exercise. You can pause this video if you will need more time. Press play again when you are finished with the activity and when you're ready to proceed with the lesson. The following statements are about retelling a story. Write T if the statements are correct and F if they are incorrect. Use a piece of paper for your answers. 1. We have to write about the major characters of the story. 2. We don't write the problems of the story. 3. We have to write the events in sequential order. 4. We should write long descriptions about the characters. 5. We don't write the unimportant events of the story. Here are the answers. Thank you for participating in our activity. Let's have a review. We have learned that sensory images are mental pictures created in the mind of the readers as she assimilates the language of the author. These images are drawn from the 5 senses, namely the details of taste, touch, sight, smell, and sound. Let's start our lesson. Retelling is a skill that calls on students to tell the story again in their own words in the correct order. During retelling, teachers gain insight as to how students are putting together the information offered in a text. Today, we will retell a chosen legend using a simple paragraph. When we retell a story, there are things that we have to consider. Retelling includes presence of the major characters. We have to write the characters who played the important roles in the story. Defining characteristics of the characters. We may write short descriptions about the major characters' personalities. Problem presented in the story. We also include the problem or conflict of the story. This makes the story more interesting. Solution to the problem or the end. On this part, we have to write the solution of the story's problem. This will lead to the ending of the story. Events presented in sequential order. We should write correct sequence of the story so that the readers will not get confused. Use the past tense of the verbs. Since we are retelling a story, it is better to use the past tense of the verb. Abilities to include only those events important to the story and exclude unimportant events. When we retell a story, we have to make sure that it will be the shorter version. We only needed the important events. For us to fully understand this lesson, let's have this activity as a practice. Make a happy face when the sentences are correct, and make a sad face when the sentences are incorrect. 1. Retelling is a skill that calls on students to tell the story again in their own words in the correct order. Nice job! This is a correct statement, so we have a happy face. When we are retelling, we use our own words and deliver the story in the correct order. 2. In retelling a story, story events may not be presented in sequential order. Bravo! Thank you for the sad face. This statement is wrong. We have to make sure that we are presenting the story in sequential order. 3. The presence of the major characters are important in retelling a story. Terrific! Thank you for the happy face! This statement is correct. Major characters must be included in retelling a story. Today, we will be reading the story of the legend of Makahiya. Later on, we will be retelling the story using a simple paragraph. Long time ago, there was a couple in Barangay Masagana who wanted a daughter. Their wish was granted and the wife gave birth to a baby girl. They called her Maria. Maria was very beautiful but very shy, that she wouldn't go out from their house. Weeks later, Spaniards came to their town. The Spaniards were very cruel that they get everything they wanted. They rob houses and kill everyone who gets in their way and who refuses to give what they wanted. The couple was very frightened to lose their daughter, so they hid Maria in the bushes so the Spaniards couldn't find her. After the Spaniards left their town, the couple tried to look for Maria. They couldn't find her even in the bushes where they hid her. Instead, they found a little plant that is very sensitive that when you touch it, it would immediately close. So, they thought it was their daughter Maria. They called the plant Makahiya, that means touch me not, like their daughter who was very shy. Let's practice. We will be retelling the story by filling in the needed details to create a simple paragraph. You have to take note of the tips that we learned earlier. This is the template that we have to follow. 1. What could we write for the first event? In the beginning, perfect! We have to start the story with the introduction of the main characters. In the beginning, there was a couple who wished to have a daughter, and their wish was granted with a baby girl. Two, what could we write after that event? Then, impressive! We may already write about the problem of the story. Then, the Spaniards attacked their town and got everything that they wanted. 3. Now let's write about what did the characters do about the problem. Next, terrific! We have to write about the response of the characters towards the problem. Next, the couple was scared, so they tried to hide Maria to the bushes. Four, what could we write on the next event? After that, nice! On this part, we are already leading the story to the ending. After that, the Spaniards left the town. The couple looked for their daughter, but they couldn't find her in the bush. Five, let's write the ending of the story. At the end, great! We have to make sure that we ended the story well by not leaving the important details. At the end, they only found a plant that when you touch, it would immediately close. They named the plant as Makahiya, like their shy daughter, Maria. Here is the summary of our answer. Well done! We were able to retell a story by writing a simple paragraph. Let's have another set of activity. Arrange the story events in correct order by writing the numbers 1 to 5 on the space before each item. Use a piece of paper for your answers. 1. There was a couple who has a daughter named Maria. 2. Maria's parents hid her to the bushes. 3. Maria became a shy plant that closed its leaf when touched. 4. When the Spaniards left, Maria's parents couldn't find her. 5. The Spaniards came to attack the town of Maria's parents. Here are the answers. Let's have our performance task. Retell your unforgettable vacation that involves the beauty of nature. Write a simple paragraph about this experience. Use a piece of paper for your answers. Kindly check the criteria for our performance test. To wrap everything up that we have talked about in this lesson, let us always remember that retelling is a skill that calls on students to tell the story again in their own words in the correct order. When we retell a story, there are things that we have to consider. Retelling includes presence of the major characters, defining characteristics of the characters, problem presented in the story, solution to the problem or the end, events presented in sequential order, use the past tense of the verbs, include only those important events to the story and exclude unimportant events. Here's today's thought to ponder. Tell the story of the mountain you climbed. Your words could become a page to someone else's survival guide. By Morgan Harper Nichols. Sharing our experiences on how we succeeded in our problems in life may inspire other people. Remember that there are people who are losing their hopes. It would be nice if our stories could serve as their light to their dark paths. Let's have our final activity for this lesson. Fill in the blanks with the missing words. Write a letter with the correct answer. Use a piece of paper for your answers. 1. We have to write about the blank characters of story. A. Major. B. Minor. C. Static. 2. Retelling is a skill that calls on students to tell the story again in their own words in the blank order. A. Different. B. Correct. C. Jumbled. 3. In retelling, we have to define the characteristics of the blank. A. Characters. B. Author. C. Reader. 4. When we retell, include only those events that are blank to the story. A. related, B. important, C. unimportant. 5. In retelling, the blank of the problem must also be written. A. Issue, B. Question, C. Solution. Here are the answers! Thank you for your participation. Here are the references that we use in this lesson.